For the first 7 months of the year, I finished 13 makeup products. Since my last Empties video, so from August 1st to today, I've used up an additional 12 makeup products, meaning I've doubled my makeup empties in the last 2 months. In fact, I have 12 makeup products to talk about and then only 5 products from other categories that aren't makeup. So that's awesome. It's going to be a very makeup heavy video. I hope you're excited. I also have numbers to share. Like always, I'm going to take everything out on the floor and separate it into categories so you get an idea of what we're going to be talking about today. So let's get started with that. The first makeup empty I want to talk about is this Colourpop No Filter Concealer. I was in the shade Light 10 and I do think this was a really good match for me. And I wasn't intending to finish this. It kind of took me by surprise. Every couple of months I put the concealer I'm using away and I go and grab another one just to change things up a little bit. And when I went to pick this one up after not using it for a couple months, when I opened it up to take out the applicator, I noticed that there was no doe foot anymore. It like completely disappeared and it had stayed in the bottle, so there was no way for me to get product out. So I took out the stopper, I fished the doe foot applicator out, and I put the rest of the concealer in a little pot, and then I made an effort to use that before it dried out. Once I took out the stopper and put it in that little container, I did use it as a foundation mixer and in any way that I could to make sure that I was able to finish it before it dried up. So I don't have the true cost per use or the number of uses for this. I don't know if that's like one packaging error or if that's just what these concealers do. I'm not sure. But even so, I feel like I went through this pretty quickly. I really liked this concealer. I'm not really interested in purchasing from Colourpop, so I won't be purchasing it again. But I did like it. I like that there are so many affordable concealers out there. There's so many that I can try. So if you have an affordable concealer recommendation, please let me know. Another product I have is an eyeshadow. I did talk about this in one of my Pan Those Eyeshadows updates. I finished Fresh, which is a matte cream eyeshadow from the ABH Sultry palette. I use this to set my eyeshadow primer. I use it on the lower lash line to brighten up my eyes. And then I will also use it to help blend out if I blend my eyeshadow out too far and I want to reel it back in a little bit. This was great. I have lots of other cream matte shadows I can go through. It does feel good to finish an entire eyeshadow. That doesn't happen every day. And I mean, look how much I've used this palette. She's got some serious dents in there. And I think if the mini Pan That palette that I'm going to try to do next year goes well, I might go for this one. I've been watching a lot of panning content from Danny's Makeup. She has so much fantastic panning content on her channel and she is doing a Pan That palette with this and it's really motivating me. There are a couple people that she's working with and they're all panning this palette and it just seems like a very achievable goal. With the exception of that matte black eyeshadow, I think that would definitely be like a huge challenge for me. But yeah, I'll just continue reaching for it organically. And this isn't related to the Empties video at all, but yeah, maybe down the line, if I get the courage, I might make this a Pan That palette. I'm sad to see this one gone. It's the Summer Fridays lip balm and this is the vanilla version. So it doesn't have any color to it. It has a really slight vanilla scent to it. I love this. This is a product where I got a little blister pack of it as a sample, I think in a Sephora purchase, and it was so good that it made me buy the full size. My friend Danny on Instagram sent me a message alerting me that currently on the Sephora website there is a Summer Fridays lip butter pack, and it has a full size of this vanilla one, and then it has 3 minis of their other shade slash flavors. And while that is so tempting, and I was so excited when I first saw it, thanks for sending that my way, Danny, I feel like I need to rein it in a little bit. I have purchased a lot of tinted lip balms because I want to compare all the formulas that I've tried. And I do have lots of other moisturizing lip products in my collection that I should probably try to work through before I purchase another one of this because I love it so much that I tend to just keep reaching for it over and over again and then neglecting the other ones. I know at some point I will definitely repurchase this. I like this even more than the hashtag This Is Everything Lip Loving Balm, which was a favorite for years and years, and I still love that and still use it, but this is like infinitely better, especially if you're looking for a really healing, very thick lip product. Fantastic. Speaking of moisturizing lip products, I have the NYX hashtag This Is Everything Lip Oil, which is different from the lip balm. I had already used this like 200 and something times and then I put it away because I was liking other formulas and I wanted to work on other things and just reach for other more moisturizing formulas in my collection because this is really thin. It's a lip oil, and it's definitely like a very oily, thin lip product. And at the time I wasn't really into that formula, so I was like, oh, this is just okay. That's a problem for another day. I'll come back to it. And then I went back to it a couple months ago and I liked it better than before. So maybe I'm getting back into lip oils. I mentioned in my Club 100 update recently that I've used this over 300 times and it was still just as full of product, or the applicator gave me just as much product as when I first started using it. And in order to finish it, I ended up having to use it 364 times for this little bottle, this little $5 lip oil. So if you are in the market for an affordable clear lip oil, this is going to give you a huge value for your money, especially because it is pretty easy to get NYX stuff on sale as well. I don't think I'm going to repurchase it. Like I said, I do have lots of other lip oils that will take me forever to get through, still in my collection, so I probably won't buy this again. But I am glad to have come back to it and ended up liking it a lot more than I originally did. And it was really cool to see just how much value you get out of this little bottle. Since we're talking about lip products, I'm going to keep going with that. I have 2 more lip makeup empties to talk about. The first one is a Catrice Volumizing Lip Balm. This is the shade Graceful Lips, which looks like what's on the outside packaging. It's like a light sort of sheer peachy color. I used to love these. These used to be some of my favorite tinted lip balms. I have 3 more full sizes of this because I don't know if they were on a really good sale or if they were getting discontinued or what, but I just felt the need to purchase a ton of backups, so I have 3 of these left that I will eventually work through. And I did scrape out a little bit to keep using it, but I stopped doing that. I'm not going to dig all the product out of here to consider it finished. I usually reserve that for products that I absolutely adore and I can't get enough of, and I just need to get every last drop out of there, or if it's a lipstick that I can use as a cream blush. This is a mintier formula, so I'm not going to use that as a cream blush. And I don't have the exact number of uses it took to finish, but the last time I calculated the uses for one of these, it came out to be about 3 cents per use. The other one is this little mini. This came in like a free mini set that came with a Tarte gift with purchase. And this is the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip. This is in the shade Rose. I understand why it's so hyped up. I love this formula so much. It definitely smells like coconut. So if you don't like that scent, you're not gonna like this at all. I loved this so much that I ended up buying the travel size, which this is like a little deluxe size as a free gift with purchase. And then this is the actual travel size of it. And I like the color, and I'm just really happy to have it back in my collection. This was great. And this little tiny guy actually took 23 uses to finish. And this is one where I did dig out to get as much out of it as I could. I do have a couple other mini Tarte products to talk about. At the beginning of the year, I bought a bunch of mini Tarte products, and I did a full face of mini video where every makeup product I had was the mini version of it. Kind of went on a mini kick for a bit. I'm still on it. I still love that brands are coming out with more mini versions of their products. I just think that's great. I used to be super against that because I know the cost per ounce or the value you get is less when you purchase the mini, like you're paying more for a smaller amount. But now I understand that for someone like me who likes to collect and try new formulas and have lots of different versions of things, sometimes having the mini is the smarter choice. So I have this little mini primer. I think this came in the set with this little lip balm as well, so I don't think that this is something that you could purchase as a mini in this particular size, but this is the Tarte Base Tape Hydrating Primer. And when I first tested it out on the back of my hand, I was like, oh, that feels really liquidy and lightweight. That's nice. But once I started using it on my face, maybe it's the coconut in it or what, but it definitely feels heavier on my skin, and it's more likely to make me greasy throughout the day. And that's something I noticed with another product I'll talk about later, where even if the formula is really liquidy and runny, something in it still can feel heavy on the skin. This also smelled like coconut, so if you're not a coconut scent fan, you're not gonna like this. But I was really surprised to get as many uses out of this little guy as I did. So this is 7 milliliters or 0.236 fluid ounces, and I used this 22 times before it ran out. Albeit I wasn't using a lot of it like a moisturizer on my skin. I was using a little bit and then focusing it on the outer portion of my face because if I put it everywhere, it would make my T-zone really greasy. But still, 22 uses for such a small container is pretty good. The next mini is this Tarte Shape Tape Stay Spray, and I don't like this as much as the Urban Decay All Nighter. I'm glad I used it, I'm glad I tried it, and I actually got 37 uses out of it before it was gone, which is fantastic. That's like a ton of uses for just a small, what is this, 1 ounce? Yeah, it's 1 ounce of product. So that's really good. It does smell very strong, which was another thing I wasn't crazy about. So I wouldn't purchase it. I wouldn't purchase the full size because of that, but I enjoyed it while I had it. I wouldn't buy it again. In the spirit of minis, I do have one more mini to talk about, and that's the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Tinted Moisturizer Mini from Colourpop. This was in the shade Light 7W, which was much too dark for me, so I would mix it with other lighter foundations. And this was like a more light coverage type of creamy product, and so it was a nice mixer because it made any foundation I added to it more skin-like. I did like it. I didn't really have any desire to purchase the full size, like I was glad to finish it. Most of the time when I put on foundation, I am mixing anywhere from 2 to 3 different products before I put it on my face. Some foundations I like the undertone, other ones I like the formula. Some of them I like that they have a little bit more coverage, some have less coverage, and so I'm mixing them together to kind of match whatever finish I'm looking for that day is how I do it. So this was like a good part of a mixture for like something that I was using up, but it's not so amazing that I need to go get it again. I have lots of other kind of tinted moisturizer types of products to use in its place. And like I said, not too keen on purchasing anything from Colourpop, so for that reason as well, I won't repurchase. Like I said, I used it as a mixer, so I wasn't using a full application each time, but it still took me 48 uses to go through. I have a NYX Micro Brow Pencil here. This is in the shade Auburn, which is a warmer red color, but it's not so warm and red that I couldn't use it in my brows even now. I just had to use a lighter hand. And I actually used this 97 times before it was gone. 97 uses for a micro brow pencil is pretty good, and I will be tracking some other brow pencils I have to see if that's standard or if that's just this particular product. Like I said, I don't use brow pencils to really recreate entire brows. I kind of use them to fill little gaps and then maybe make the tail a little bit darker. And I will say it was also good to have a warmer brow pencil because my eyebrows are very, very cool toned, and then my hair is a little bit warmer, and so adding a little bit of warmth to my eyebrows did work for me. I'm not saying that I'm gonna be going out and buying red eye pencils, but it was kind of something I had left over back when I did have more red strawberry blonde hair, and I kind of just wanted to work through it, so I used it in a way that worked for me. But yeah, this was good, and I would definitely buy this again. I think the NYX Micro Brow Pencils are awesome, and they have a really, really good shade range. So I just checked on the Ulta website because I wanted to give you the actual number of shades they have, and they have 12 shade options, which is really great for an affordable brow pencil. Most, if they even have more than one shade, it doesn't go more than like 4 or 5 shades. So 12 is awesome. They even have like a gray one. And on the website, I just learned that this is also a vegan product, so that's cool. All right, I have 2 mascaras left. The Tarte Lash Paint, I repurchased this because I remember really liking it when I finished it a couple years ago. And I do like the formula well enough, but the brush is super, super spiky. It's a plastic wand, and without fail, I managed to stab one of my eyeballs at least once or twice a week, which is once or twice a week too many, so I won't be buying that because I just don't have the dexterity. And then the other one is from Merit, and number one, the packaging is gorgeous for this, and I did get quite a few uses out of here. I think I used it for like 5 or 6 months before I called it quits. And this is definitely a more natural mascara, which makes a lot of sense with the brand. They're kind of for the person on the go who doesn't want to be overly made up, but just wants to maybe polish their face. What? Have a more polished look, I think is what I was trying to say. If you already have thick lashes, this is going to be nice, but it doesn't help your eyelashes stay up. I think it would be really hard to build to make it thicker. Like once you do more than 2 coats, you're really not going to get a ton of extra volume or length, so this isn't like the most dramatic mascara. I did like this. I wouldn't purchase it again, mainly because it's an expensive product and I don't typically like to spend a lot of money on mascaras. So I usually get mascaras from the drugstore, or if I want a high-end, I'll get the mini version of it. If Merit created a mini version of this, I would definitely buy that again. Okay, as fun as that was to be able to share 12 new makeup empties with you, I have been filming for a long time. I'm getting a little tuckered out. Luckily, I don't have many more products to talk about, so I will try to keep this quick. The first product is a body product. It's from Kosas. It's the Kosas Sport AHA plus Enzyme Exfoliating Wash, and its purpose is to obviously be used as a body wash, but also to help with clogged pores or, sloughing off dead skin cells on your body. So I purchased this because I thought it would help me with my legs. I tend to get razor bumps and ingrown hairs and stuff on my legs just from shaving and not actually taking care of my skin. And while I do think it helped, definitely adding some sort of physical exfoliant in your bath shower routine is going to help just as much as using something like this is. At least that's what my experience was. I recently switched over from using a loofah to a washcloth, and whenever I was using this on the parts of my body that I wanted to help clear out the pores or get the dead skin cells off, I would use the washcloth to do like a gentle exfoliation, and I think that compared with any body wash will give me the results that I have. Like, I don't think any of my issues are big enough that I would need to actually go in with an active ingredient to address it. I did really like the smell of it. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's not fruity or anything. It definitely smells like it has some type of like, I don't want to say it smells medicinal because it doesn't, but I don't know. It definitely smells like a practical type of body wash. I don't know. I love it. I don't think anyone else would smell that and be like, wow, that's really great. But I really liked how this smelled a lot. But I'm not really the type of person to spend, what was this, like $18 to $20 on a body wash. So I probably won't purchase this again for that reason. I have a hair product here. This is a co-wash, a conditioning no lather cleanse from Paul Mitchell. It's the lavender mint version. And I love this scent so much. I remember going through a little mini bottle of the lavender mint shampoo, but I loved that scent so much that I did go back through the lavender mint line to see if there was anything else from there that I'd like to try. And when I saw that they had a cleansing conditioner, I definitely picked it up right away and loved it. I am not really the type of person to need to use a cleansing conditioner often. I'm under the impression that cleansing conditioners are more for people with curly hair. But for me, I would use this whenever I used a clarifying shampoo that I felt had really stripped a lot of the moisture from the hair at the base of my head. And I didn't want to go through with a conditioner and like bring moisture back that way, because I don't want to put conditioner directly on my scalp like that. And also I do lighten my hair, so every 3 weeks I was using hair dye to make my hair lighter. And so once I was rinsing that out, I would use this because I had put really harsh chemicals on my scalp and on my hair there, and I wanted something gentle to, rinse out the hair dye, but not necessarily strip me of any more oils, and to put some oils back in. I've decided to stop lightening my hair. I don't know if you can see my roots coming out, but over the next maybe 6 months to a year, my hair is going to have this transition where I'm letting my hair grow out so that it can just be my natural color, which is a little bit of a darker blonde. And so I won't have a need for cleansing conditioners as much as I previously have. And even then, I only use a cleansing conditioner like a couple times a month. I do have an unwash cleansing conditioner, which I adore. I love the unwashed cleansing conditioner too. That one smells amazing. I love it just as much as this one. I have like a liter bottle of that, so that's going to take forever to go through. I typically like to buy the unwashed 1 liters whenever they're having sales on their website, but the last few times I've tried to buy it while it was on sale, the 1 liter was out of stock. I'm assuming it sells out really quickly, so it's not as easy to get. While the Paul Mitchell one, you can get at Ulta, you can get it on sale, you can use your points. It's a little bit more accessible for me. So whenever I use up that unwashed one, I will pick up the one that is easier to get. If you were like forcing me to choose between the two, I would still say I really love the unwashed version, but both of these are really nice. I have a face wash. I've talked about this several times, so I won't get into detail, but this is my favorite. It has dethroned the e.l.f. Daily Cleanser, which while that one is much more affordable, I still prefer this one. I just think this is much better. I think it's a lot more gentle on my skin, and I just prefer the formula and how it feels whenever I use it. So I am going to keep purchasing this one. I have another full size in my shower, and I will try to pick these up whenever Korres has those like 30% off site-wide sales. Highly recommend. I think it's fantastic. And then I have 2 Paula's Choice products to talk about. The first one is a mini of the 2% BHA liquid exfoliant. I love this. This is a fantastic chemical exfoliant. I would have already repurchased another one if I wasn't trying to go through my Glow Tonic from Pixi. I don't like that one as much. I think this one is way better. I understand the hype, and so I will purchase the full size at some point. I just need to work through the Glow Tonic first. And the very last product is the Paula's Choice clear ultralight daily hydrating fluid. It's got an SPF spectrum of 30, and you saw me work through this in my Partners in Cream project pan. The packaging says that it has antioxidants and that it's for blemish prone skin, and that it hydrates without clogging pores and helps prevent UV damage and signs of aging. This is SPF 30. I prefer SPF 50 at least on a regular basis, so I wouldn't purchase it again for that reason. But also, like I mentioned with the Tarte Base Tape Primer, even though this is a really liquidy formula, it still feels heavy on my skin, and it definitely makes me oilier faster. I have some other sunscreens that have even higher SPFs, and they don't make me as greasy as this one. That's why I love the Supergoop Play SPF 50. That is my favorite one, specifically because it works so well under makeup and it doesn't make me oily throughout the day. So while this doesn't work necessarily for me, if you have really dry skin or if you live in a really dry climate, I think you would enjoy this a lot more than I do. And it makes sense. It says it hydrates without clogging pores. I think that's true. I don't want a moisturizing SPF product. That doesn't work for me. I was so concerned about wrapping things up that I forgot to give uses for the last couple of ones I talked about. So for the Kosas body wash, this I got 42 uses out of before it was gone. For the Paula's Choice BHA, I used this one 27 times before it was gone. And then for the Paula's Choice SPF, I used this 63 times before it was gone. Okay, that was everything. Thank you so much for sticking with me if you watched it all the way to the end. Even though I have been able to finish up quite a few makeup products in the last few months, I still have at least a handful more that will be finished soon. I think I'm going to try to do my next Empties video sometime in December, and then I will have a entire 2022 Makeup Empties video at the very end of the year or at the beginning of next year. I can hear someone doing yard work outside, so that is perfect timing. It's my cue to stop filming. So I'm gonna let you go. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next video.